really interesting juncture to bring in fangirl Jennie Bond. Now, what's going on with young Jennie Bond? Have you noticed how she's now basically saying quite a lot of the things that the supporters of Meghan and Harry usually say, which is that the media is responsible for all of the often lies and mistruth, disinformation and distraction that there is out there, and irrespective of what we say, the Duchess is rising no matter what. So I'm just going to play you a little excerpt of her interview on GB News, and she's speaking to a commentator and he opens the questioning.
Without watching this show, that the career of Meghan Markle seems to have risen like a phoenix.
Oh, well, you talk about ashes, but I think we have to accept that it is us, the media, who created those ashes.
Very important point, Miss Bond. Thank you for making it. The media creates the ashes. They create the framework and the lattice that many of the derangers and all those people who believe the propaganda sink themselves into. It's a media narrative, people. It's like a cream horn, like I said. Really disappointing, not enough sugar, and it makes a mess on your top.
There was no statement from Harry and Meghan and no indication at any point. But we all decided that the Netflix deal was dead in the water. So it's one in the eye, actually, to all her detractors. Cameron summed the whole thing up very, very well. Though I have to say that he kind of spoke about all these projects. But if you analyse it, it's one show that's in the can already. That's her lifestyle show. There's a holiday special about Christmas. And then there's the Ugandan documentary. But Harry is mentioned in that only as one of many producers, quite a long way down, actually. And Meghan is also mentioned there. And the rest of it is all very, very vague what's going to happen. But the fact of the matter is, they have won. Meghan has won. And we have to eat humble pie.
Well, there you heard it. Jennie Fangirl Bond has actually said the naked truth out loud. Not that we needed her to say it, because those people who have 2 ounces of sense will know, like I said, that the media effectively is the cream horn of distraction. But the point is, it's important that she is saying it on GB News, which is a mainstream channel which has had nothing but a diet of detraction, negativity for the Sussexes. And, you know, it's the same with Talk TV and all of these stations. So for her to come out and say that, I think it's an interesting turning point. So in that regard, I think Jennie Bond potentially has got minimal, somewhat modicum, I wouldn't even say fangirl status. She's just being balanced. You know, let's not give her too many props and flowers. She's just being balanced. And in a crowd where no balance is given, she's seen as an outlier, which is interesting that Miss Bond now is potentially the outlier. I doubt she'll get too many more appearances on GB News. We know how that goes, darling, once you no longer fit the performative narrative. The room was never really made for us. And that's one of the things that happen when black women do not perform in the role that their diversity and inclusion tick box asks them to perform in. When you no longer do that, they're not interested, darling. And that's exactly what's happened with the Duchess. She wasn't interested in being performative. So she made her own room, and those rules in her room work beautifully. And so many of us, especially women of colour, we have to make our own room, because if we want to work in the YT room, we're going to either die, burn out, or get killed in there. Moving along swiftly, darlings.